Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, new friends, and I'm comforted to see some familiar faces and names. And welcome to all of you. My name is Karen Penfold, and I'm the owner of Full of Hope Yoga and Trauma Recovery. And I want to welcome you to this 4-week series to help you experience relief and recovery from traumatic stress. As an 11-year, 2-time breast cancer survivor, and as someone who, was a caregiver to my mother, who lost her battle with lung cancer back in 2019. It was a very short, and brutal battle. I'll just be honest and tell you that. So having said that, I do share that to let you know that we have some shared experiences. I would imagine we have some shared experiences in our lives, shared experiences in our body, and likely shared experiences in our nervous systems. And that shared nervous system experience is likely some dysregulation. And dysregulation of the nervous system may be experienced as things like stress, anxiety, maybe even panic, maybe some disconnection and disorientation within your body and within the environment. It might be experienced as depression or even helplessness. And now I know that I've felt those things after my 2 years of cancer surgeries and treatments were over. That's when I really did notice so much of those things that I just mentioned. For me, it wasn't while I was going through the diagnosis, treatments, surgeries, recovery of cancer, while certainly that was stressful, and I'm certain that I had experiences of some of those things, but it was after it was over, right? Or cancer patients and survivors hear that if you are in that survivorship stage, that idea that it's over is an interesting concept in itself, right? But all of that was behind me. And so it was very, honestly, it was just so confusing to me, the why now, why am I feeling this way and these things now? And so my oncologist referred me to the social worker at Sutter who works with cancer survivors and families. And I described what was going on. And she said, this is very common. This is very common among cancer survivors, patients, and caregivers to have post-traumatic stress. And that's what she described it as. And for me, that post-traumatic stress was experienced as severe anxiety, and then it went into severe depression. And so maybe for some of you, it's not over. Maybe you're newly diagnosed. Maybe you're still in the thick of it with the treatments, the recovery, the surgeries, and you're experiencing, let's just say, present moment or present traumatic stress, right? So we've got post-traumatic stress. We have present traumatic stress, as well as we've got the cancer part of it that is similar, but that's not keeping us also from experiencing all of the other present or post-traumatic stress that's going on in our world and that's going on in our nervous systems. And so what happens is that post and or that present traumatic stress can dysregulate your nervous system into fight flight experiences, things like anxiety, panic, or you can kind of go back and forth, or It can bring you into that freeze reactions of overwhelm, depression, or dissociation. And so I just want to say that I see you. I see you, I hear you, I feel you. And also I want to say this. I think you're brave and courageous. I think you're really brave and courageous to step into this healing work, because what I'm going to ask you to do is not easy. And what I'm going to ask and lead you to do is to feel. Not necessarily emotions, however, that may certainly come up, but with this somatic, soma meaning body, somatic embodied work for trauma recovery, I am going to lead you into feelings and sensations within your body. And this is the way we are going to practice, learn and practice ways of bringing your nervous system back into regulation so that you can experience what I call, and some of my mentors call, a place of calm aliveness, where we are experiencing life to the full, where we experience things like rest and peace, and we experience that yes, I'm alive in this moment. And this is where we feel, so today's session is about cultivating a felt sense of safety. So a felt sense of safety is that internal feeling that just where you're like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and that felt sense of safety, you might think of it as being your, I want to ask you this. When was the last time you might have felt a full body just, So it's my job to help you do that. And just, and the good news is that this autonomic nervous system we have, while it's automatic, it takes us into these stress and survival states. We have some power and control over it, and we do that by doing the practices that we're going to learn to bring regulation into our nervous system, which is the parasympathetic state of the nervous system. In fact, if you want to get out that form right now, there's the 3 states of the nervous system, and it's in that middle state, that parasympathetic state, that's called the rest, digest, recover state. Friends, survivors, patients, survivors, family members, we need rest and recovery, right? Do we not need some rest and recovery? And when our nervous system is dysregulated into fight, flight, or freeze, that is not when our body is meant to rest and recover. That's when we're meant to activate. That's when we're meant to collapse and preserve energy. It's in that middle state that we can rest and recover. And so we're going to do practices to get us there. So looking at that 3 states of the nervous system, I'd like you to take a look over to the right side of it and just read over the different, I call them experiences of when you're in fight, flight, mobilization. Just read over those words. Just read over those words, all of the words on the right side of this form. And then I'm going to ask you to ponder this. So here's the thing. I'd like you to take a look at those words. I want you to inquire of yourself with kindness. What feels familiar to you? When you look, when you read through those words that kind of describe the experiences of being in one of those 3 states, what feels familiar to you? And it might be helpful for you to use a sheet of paper or your notebook or your noticing notebook to write down what of those words feels familiar to you. Perhaps right now, and then maybe thinking back to, I don't know, an hour ago, yesterday, a week ago, a month ago, a stressful experience. A stressful experience. What of those things on this sheet of paper over to the left, over to the right, feels familiar to you? All right, so that is just to start with some awareness. We're going to refer to that probably again throughout this today, and to begin each practice. It's a good starting point to because if we're going to learn to regulate our nervous system, we need to be able to recognize what state the nervous system is in. Okay, so this is going to help you recognize the states of your nervous system. So we have those three, and I think I'm going to have us, okay, one last thing. Trauma recovery is about what I like to say, getting out of your thinking mind and getting into your feeling body. Because when we're under traumatic stress, our survival response is to go into the thinking mind, come out of the feeling body, not feel the intensity of what's going on, and try to figure out a solution. And so this trauma recovery work, if trauma takes us out of the body and into the mind, trauma recovery takes us out of the mind and into the body. And so today our practices are going to be about experiencing, we're going to ground and orient using the 4 sensory systems that we have, the 4 sensory systems that God gave us to experience our world. And they are the exteroceptive, interoceptive, proprioception, and neuroception. Lots of big words. Let's get into, I'll stop talking about it and we'll start doing it, okay? So what I would like you to please do is to stand up and just be somewhere where you can be standing on a yoga mat, yes or no, it doesn't matter, or on the ground, and if you can be in bare feet, that would be best. Going to meet your back, going to just meet here, standing up, and we're going to begin to experience our environment using our 5 senses. Of course, those 5 senses are sight, hearing, tasting, smelling, and feeling. And the one that we're going to go to right now is feeling. And to do that, I would like you to, on your feet, this is called heel drops. I want you, if you're able, to rise up on your toes and drop down to your heels. Simple as that. Rise up on your toes and drop down to your heels. Again, it's called heel drops. It's easy to remember and do, to rise up on your toes and drop down on your heels. We'll do that one more time, coming up on the toes and dropping down to your heels. And then I just want you to notice and sense into your body. Do you feel maybe some more physical sensation of your body by doing those heel drops? And now we're going to add, oh, I'm sorry, I've got a little bug flying around me. Now we're going to add raising our hands up as we come up on our toes and having them come down with the heel drop, raising one or both arms up and coming down raising up, coming down. And again, take some awareness here. Compassionate self-awareness is a practice of, and trauma recovery message is the practice of noticing what you notice and feel what you feel without judgment, comparison, or analyzing. Maybe you could just feel a little more activity within your muscles or your blood moving. Let's do that. We're going to do this 3 more times, and this time we're going to add breath with an inhale as we come up and an exhale as we drop down. All right, here we go. We're going to inhale up on toes, exhale, drop down. Inhale up to toes, exhale, drop down. Last time, inhale up toes, exhale, drop down. And again, I encourage you to stand here and notice for sensation within your body. Our body is the container of all feeling, sensation, and emotion. Everything happens within this container. Notice what you might sense about your body in this moment. In this way, we're enlivening the nervous system, bringing some aliveness, right, into the system. And this is a grounding activity. We ground to come into the present moment. And coming into the present moment is calming and regulating for your nervous system. Okay, let's just maybe shake out the legs now. Give the legs a little shake. Give the arms a shake. And now we're going to do a technique called body tapping or body boundary tapping. And to do that, you just bring your left arm up. And with your right hand, starting at the top of your hand, just gently, we're going to tap on the skin, bringing your hand up to your shoulder and then down. And then tapping up towards your shoulder and tapping down. Just notice the sensation you might feel with those finger pads that are doing the tapping. What do you notice there? Or how about the sensation you might feel on this left arm as you tap down and up? We're sparking up what's one of our perceptions is interoception, the sense to feel internally what's going on in your body. All right, let's bring that arm down just for a moment. Notice, having done the tapping on the left arm and not on the right yet, do you notice any sensation or anything different? This is all a practice. There's no right or wrong. We're practicing coming out of the thinking mind and getting into the feeling body. We'll do it now with the right arm. Just bringing your right arm up, or it can stay down. It really doesn't matter. We'll bring the left fingers to the top of the right hand. And again, we're just going to gently tap up and tap down and tap up and tap down. And do one more time. And then we'll let the hand go down, let the arm go down, and just notice. You get to notice what you notice and feel what you feel without judgment, analyzing, or comparison. And I like to shorten that to noticing with kindness. You get to notice with kindness your present moment experience in this world. And right now, we're practicing noticing that present moment experience of sensation on or in the body. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Now, you can do this practice going up and down, all the way to the legs, tapping on maybe all of your hip bones and all of that. We're not going to do that right now, but if you found this interesting or helpful to come into your body in a safe way, to feel something that feels safe and okay to feel, the tapping helps us connect back to the body. So that is that body boundary tapping. And now we're going to continue to use our external senses to orient and ground to the environment. We're going to start back with the feet. If you'd like to bring your feet maybe just a little wider than your hips, just to get a sense that your feet are a little wider than your hips. And then I'm going to invite you to notice and sense what you feel under the soles of your feet. Coming out of your thinking mind into your feeling body. What do you notice? How do you sense sensation under the soles of your feet? Maybe it might be helpful to rock forward a little bit towards your toes without falling on your head, a little bit back towards your heels without falling on your bottom. Bring more sensory to your feet, maybe by rocking forward and back. You could rock from right and left and notice you might pick up your heel on the opposite leg of where you're leaning. Just notice, feel how one foot is fully connected, the heel comes up. We're using our feet to have a grounded, present moment experience in this moment. Okay, so we're still working on feel with that. And now, if you want to just come into some stillness, I invite you to notice something audible in your environment. Allow your awareness to travel to something audible in your environment. And see if you can get a sense for what that sound is. What is creating that sound? See if you can get a perception for where the sound is coming from in relation to your body in this moment. This is actually using proprioception, another one of our sensory systems. Proprioception tells us where our body is in space compared to something else, or compared to body, like if you can feel that your hands are out in front of you and hands distance apart. That would be proprioception. So we're using our external sense of hearing that sound, noticing where it is. What is your perception? Where is that sound coming from in relation to your body in this moment? We are orienting to our present moment environment. And now just notice if there's an aroma in your environment. Perhaps a candle, cologne, soap that you use. Just notice. Remember, there's no right or wrong to this. What do you notice about aroma in your environment? And now we'll go to taste. bringing your awareness inside of your mouth and notice. You might need to swallow. It might be helpful just to get a sense. Is there some lingering taste of coffee, toothpaste, orange juice? Just notice. All right, friends. We have done of our external senses: feel, smell, taste, hearing. Now we're going to use our sight. And if you need to move around, it's absolutely fine. Let's go ahead and maybe move back and forth on the feet. Now we're going to use our vision, our sight, to orient to our environment. And it is perhaps through our vision that we take in the most information about our environment. Unless, of course, if you're blind, then other senses are heightened. But if you have your vision, it's likely that that's the way you take in the most information about your environment. So we're going to intentionally use our vision, our sight, to orient to our present moment environment. So let's do that very intentionally by starting by, and you can turn your whole body, turning towards the back right of your room. I would like you to notice every corner, starting with this back right corner, and let your vision give you information about your present moment environment. Starting in the back right, looking to the floor even, looking up towards the ceiling. Make a full sweep of looking at your environment. Noticing doors. Are they open or shut? Noticing windows. So we are giving our nervous system and the sensory part of the nervous system that gives us information about whether we're safe or under threat, perceived or real, is our neuroception. We're giving our neuroception real-time, true information about the relative safety or threat of our environment by looking, seeing what's here. And make sure you look completely behind you. I happen to have a window behind me, so that could be really important just to give your nervous system information. There's a window. What do I see outside? Notice the windows and the doors. Notice your environment. And then when you're done with that, I invite you just to become still, and with your eyes opened or closed, to just stop and do a check-in with your nervous system. We've done several different types of grounding and orienting practices. What do you sense and feel? If you were to look, and if you want to, you can, if you were to look to the right-hand side of that form, what words feel, not sound, I like to say what words feel familiar to you? We're checking in on our nervous system. Where might we be? And you might find it interesting by taking a full look around your environment, if that brings a little settling to your system. And then that's what we're looking for. That's kind of our goal, right? Is to feel a settling into the nervous system. So you stop to do a little check-in. And now one more thing while we're standing up. You may have heard this practice, and it's called the 5-4-3-2-1. And it's using the 5 senses to bring you into the present moment. This can be very helpful if you start to feel your system activate into some anxiety or even panic. It's also helpful if you're feeling in that kind of stuck or frozen, disconnected from your environment because of some traumatic memory or traumatic stress that's going on. So what we want to do, come out of the thinking mind into the feeling body, and you can do this out loud if you're by yourself or in a situation where it wouldn't be uncomfortable. But what you want to do is name 5 things you can see. You look around your environment, 5 things you can see. And then 4 things you can hear. 3 things you can feel. You feel your legs. You can feel your feet to the ground. And it's actually helpful to touch something in your environment and say, I feel the windowsill. This might seem kind of strange, but whatever it takes to feel some relief, right? I feel the windowsill. Feel the windowsill. It doesn't matter truly whether it's 5 things that you see and 4, it is using your senses to bring your body into the present moment. So that is the 5-4-3-2 or name 5 things practice. Now I'm going to have us, now I'm going to have us sit back down in our chairs. Bring it into your chairs. And I want you to be able to see my hips in the chair, so I might have to mess around with this a little bit. And again, what's important is that you can see and hear me. Okay, so now we're sitting down. And we're going to do some grounding. I'm always going to lead us into grounding, whether we're standing, whether we're sitting. And as we get into more practices when we're on the ground, on our mats and on our backs, because grounding is just that. It is grounding, settling for your nervous system. So let's take a moment to feel the connection of the ground under your feet. And it might be helpful to press one foot into the flooring or carpet and then the other. We want to give as much sensory information as we can so we can feel that there is something firm and stable under our feet. What does trauma do? Trauma does not feel firm or stable, does it? Traumatic stress does not feel stable, true, or real, but we can feel that there is stable ground under the feet. And now we're going to ground using our hips and our pelvis. So I invite you to bring your awareness to sensing the connection that your body has to the chair. Bring your sensory awareness to feel the connection of what's under your hamstrings, feeling back into your hips and your pelvis, and that there's support under your hips and pelvis. Now I invite you to sense, as you're able, the weight of your hips and your pelvis dropping towards the chair. See if you can get a sense that the weight of your hips and your pelvis is dropping towards the chair. Good. So we're grounded with our feet, now our hips and our pelvis. And I'm going to continue with a practice of using our interoception. Our interoception is our ability to sense inside, to feel the landscape of the inside of our bodies. It's our interoception that tells us when we're hungry, that tells us when we need to use the restroom, that tells us that we are fearful, that tells us that we have heartburn, that tells us that we're sleepy. Okay, this is all sensation driven on the inside of the body. So we're going to do a practice to spark up interoception. So as we sit on the chair, I invite you to locate your tailbone. Sense where your tailbone is in between your hips, in the back region of your body. Sensing your tailbone. And getting a sense that you have a spine that comes up from your tailbone. The spine goes through your low back. It goes through the middle of your back, through your shoulder blades, up through the back of your cervical spine, through in your neck, all the way up to the crown of your head. And perhaps here you can sense the stability of your hips and the length and strength of your spine to hold your body upright. Sitting upright, feel as you're able the stability of your hips, the length and strength of your spine. And now we're going to do some neck stretching. The main purpose here is for interoception, to feel what you feel when we stretch the neck. But as we move into this series, you're going to learn why neck stretching is so helpful for regulating the nervous system. But for today, let's just turn our chin towards the right, towards your right shoulder. Going slow, your body will tell you when to stop. Notice what you notice and feel what you feel. What happens with your body? What do you feel in your neck or your head as you turn your chin towards the right? And then we'll turn the chin towards the left shoulder. You get to notice what you notice and feel what you feel without judgment. Feeling the sensation you feel as your chin is turned towards the left shoulder. And let's go ahead and go to the right and the left. Noticing what that feels like to move your chin to the right and the left. And then looking forward, how about letting your chin drop towards your chest? Noticing sensation by allowing your chin drop towards your chest. What do you sense and feel into your back, your neck? There's no right or wrong. And then let's bring the nose and the chin up again. And now if it feels okay, if it feels safe for your neck to just keep bringing your chin up, I call this raising your gaze, raising your heart, your chin and your heart. You might even feel your heart raise a little bit as you bring your chin up. Notice sensation there. And then we'll bring the chin down and up and down and up. Good. I like to get the movement of the head and the neck. All ways we can explore that. So let's let the chin drop towards the chest. And now imagine you're drawing an O right in front of you, like there's a mirror in front of you, and you're drawing an O, big O with your nose on that steamy mirror. So we're going nice and slow, maybe 2 times one direction. And then 2 times the other direction. Going nice and slow, you get to notice what you notice and feel what you feel without judgment, comparison, or analyzing. Just what is the sensation you feel? And then I'll have you bring your head back up. Remember, we're practicing coming out of our thinking mind and into our feeling body. And we call it a practice because it is that. It is a practice. There's no right or wrong. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking, I call it parasympathetic progress. Okay, the more that we can practice these kinds of exercises that help us come into our parasympathetic nervous system, our rest, digest, recovery, we're making parasympathetic progress. So just notice again into your system any sensations or feelings maybe associated with turning the neck and stretching the neck. And then any other sensations or feelings. You don't need to analyze it, but what might you feel in your belly or in your chest or in your hands? Just notice with kind curiosity, no judgment. And now I like to always do some heart and posture opening. Let's start by bringing the hands in heart, what's called heart center. I'm going to pause here and have us ground again. So bringing your awareness to the sensation of the connection of the ground under your feet. See if you can sense carpet fibers or flooring. Notice the sensation that there's contact, connection under your feet. Guide your awareness to the weight of your hips and your pelvis, dropping you towards the chair. Gravity does that, dropping you towards the chair, and that sturdy, firm chair under your legs is holding your body. Just ground it again using our feet and our hips. And now bring some sensory awareness into the palms of your hands. Notice the connection. See if you can sense maybe some heat between the palms of your hands. See if you can sense the smoothness or roughness to the skin there at the palms or at your fingertips. And if you want to move your hands to get some more sensory information, you can do that. Move your hands, rub your hands. Does that help you feel some heat maybe? Does that help you sense if your hands are smooth or rough? We're just bringing our awareness into the feeling body. Okay. And now I'll have you drop your hands out in front of you and then draw your thumbs behind you. So this is going to open you up a little bit across your shoulders and heart. We'll bring the hands back together in front. There's a little bend to the elbows. They draw in towards one another, and then the thumbs move back, and then they draw in, and they open up. I invite you to notice sensation across your ribs and your chest as you move the hands together and as they open. Bringing your sensory awareness. What do you sense and feel across your ribs, your chest? Maybe you feel it as your heart space opening and the hands come together. And if this brings you any pain or discomfort, you stop. Bring the hands in. Maybe notice now what you feel across the top of your back or into your shoulder blades as you do this motion. Practicing sensory awareness. And we're practicing noticing sensation in the body without distracting from it or ignoring it. How often do we distract or ignore our sensations and or feelings? Trauma recovery work is about paying attention to your real-time experience without distracting or ignoring or pushing away. And even if it's a little bit of discomfort, I don't ever want you to bring pain to your body, but even if you feel a little discomfort from this movement, I want you to feel that. Where might you feel if it's maybe some fatigue in your shoulders or your back by doing this? And we're practicing an important trauma recovery message that it is safe to feel. It's safe to feel. We don't distract or ignore even discomfort. All right, let's go ahead and let the arms come down. And now, notice into your body, into your shoulders, maybe your back, feeling sensation brought on by that movement. Remember, there's no right or wrong. We're practicing noticing sensation in the body. So that's a heart opening sequence. Now, let's see, next, let's do a simple practice called being with your breath. You don't need to breathe any particular way. You're going to practice being with your breath in the present moment. And a good way to do that might be to place your both your hands on your ribs. And also here, I'll have you settle back into your chair if you're moved forward. Just settle back, really feel the chair supporting you under your hips and your pelvis. Feel the back of the chair supporting the back of your body. Feel the ground under your feet. Just really sink into this support underneath you. And with your hands to your ribs or heart, I invite you to notice your breath. There's no right or wrong way for you to breathe. Notice maybe the movement of your breath. Maybe you can feel that movement internally. As air comes in through your nostrils and expands into your lungs and diaphragm. As the air releases out. Being with your breath. Or perhaps you can sense the movement of your breath by feeling your hands. Maybe move up, or your ribs expand, press into your hands as you breathe. This is your exploration, your practice, your body. How can you feel and experience your breath in this moment? Feeling the way your breath moves your body. You get to notice what you notice and feel what you feel without judgment. Notice with kindness your present moment experience with your breath. Good. And now if you want to go ahead and just let your hands now just rest to your legs, or rest wherever they feel restful for you. And I'm going to pause here and have you stop and notice. Notice sensation in your body. Notice for some cues and clues that can tell you what is the state of your nervous system now. Or what are the cues and clues to the state of your nervous system? And there's no right or wrong or supposed to. Please hear me on that with that kind, compassionate awareness to your experience in this moment. Really, the magic begins with the awareness, your ability to have awareness about the state of your nervous system. That's the foundational important piece. It's not that, oh, yep, I can tell, I'm sensing, I'm in parasympathetic, I feel calm or ease. The importance is for you to embody that message, that you get to notice what you notice and feel what you feel without judgment. Notice what are the cues and clues about the state of your nervous system. One more practice I'd like to lead you through today, and this is a practice I developed, and I call it Grace for Your Face. Okay, so it goes like this. Always beginning with a pause to ground. Bring that sensory awareness to feeling and sensation, your soles, your feet connected and supported by something firm and secure underneath. Same thing with your hips, your pelvis, and your legs. Bring that felt sensation of that chair supporting you under your hips, your pelvis, and your legs. And then if you aren't already, leaning back into your chair, sense the connection behind your body, behind your back. And if your hands are on top of your legs, I invite you to sense the weight of your hands resting on the tops of your legs. All right. Grace for your face. I invite you to invite ease into your forehead. What would that be like to invite in some ease and release into your forehead? Imagine your skin softening, lines disappearing. Would you invite ease and release into your forehead? Then invite that ease and softening into your right eyebrow and into your left eyebrow. Imagine that space in between your eyebrows. There's no expression there. The softness, ease, and release. Inviting an ease and release into your cheekbones. You might imagine that the cheekbones and the bones and the cartilage that create your nose, shape of your eyes, your jaw, your chin, all melting like warm wax under the skin. Sensing ease and release into your ears. What would that feel like? Feel a softening inside of your ears. What if you could create a softening around the rims of your ears? Inviting ease and release into your jawline. Maybe your chin could feel heavy. Your jaw release. I invite your awareness inside of your mouth now. Just notice if there is space between the back of your teeth, between the backs of your molars. See if you could bring some space between the backs of your teeth, your tongue loose from the roof of your mouth. Sensing into your jaw on both sides. Feeling a release of your jaw. Guiding your awareness into the back of your throat. And notice if there is space there for your airway. For you to be with your breath now. Feeling the way your breath is breathing your body in this moment. Bringing your awareness into your face in its entirety. And just notice what it's like for you. There's no right or wrong. Just notice with kindness. What is it like for you to have invited in this grace for your face? Ease and release into your eyes, your cheekbones, your jaw. Release for your face. And now I'll have you sense into your shoulders. just see if you might be able to soften into each shoulder, whatever that means for you in this moment. Soften into your shoulders. Feel the contact again of the chair under your body, holding you, allowing the weight of your hips and your pelvis to drop into the chair. Feel the support of the chair behind your body. Your hands resting gently on your legs. Brace for your face. And your practice of being with your breath. Feeling your breath move your body, breathe your body in this moment. There are at least 5 relaxation responses of your body. 5 automatic relaxation responses when you are in parasympathetic rest, digest, recover state of your system. So these are some things for you to be curious about noticing. And they are a full body sigh, the feeling and spontaneous sigh come over your body. Or you might feel it as a spontaneous deeper breath. A deeper breath that comes over your system. You might notice a need to swallow because of extra saliva in your mouth. You might notice a dampness or wetness inside of your mouth when we're in parasympathetic rest digest. Our body is in the state is ready, at the ready to digest our food. So we have the saliva in the mouth, the enzymes coming into the mouth, into the stomach. You might also notice by hearing it or feeling it, a gurgle in your stomach. Again, your body is prepared to digest food properly when you are in rest digest. Our body is not meant to be proficient at digesting food when we're in fight, flight, or freeze. Let's see, some other relaxation responses could be, you might notice a spontaneous yawn. And with that yawn or without the yawn, you might notice some moisture to your eyes, maybe in the rims of your eyes if they're closed, or the edges of your eyes. Things for you to be curious about. Just notice. How is your body, how could your body be telling you that you are in parasympathetic rest digest? Things for you to notice. And then one more time, I invite you to notice into your system. How with sensation, cues and clues of sensation in your body, be telling you what is the state of your nervous system. And so we've been using the body, right, to calm the mind. When the body is calm, it sends messages up to the brain that it too can be calm. And when the body is calm, messages of logic, reason, gratitude, perspective can effectively come into the mind and also affect the body. So messages of, in this moment, I am safe. Messages, in this moment, I am alive and well. Bringing in gratitude, bringing in perspective, bringing in logic can be helpful when, or more helpful, I should say, when the body is prepared to receive those messages because it is in a relaxed state. You are doing the beautiful hard work of trauma recovery through nervous system regulation. It's beautiful because you're being present with yourself. You're being present with your body, your feelings, your sensations, maybe even your emotions. And beautiful as you practice it in a state of compassionate self-awareness, noticing what you notice and feel what you feel without judgment, comparison, or analyzing. Did I say it was beautiful hard work? It's hard work because it is hard to feel. It can be. It can be hard to pay attention to sensations and feelings and emotions. We feel all that, we experience all of that in the body, and it's been in the body, or it's been the body that perhaps has been or is your source of pain. And you might even feel that your body, if you are a cancer patient or survivor, feel like maybe it's your body that betrayed you. And yet we want to pay attention to it and feel it and have compassion for it. And it's beautiful work because it's healing work that's going to help you take some control, some predictability, some empowerment and choice back into your nervous system, into your life. Because trauma takes those things away, takes away choice, takes away power, control, predictability, takes away often ease, calmness, and that enlivenedness within the nervous system. Oh, friends, you did so good. You did so good with this hard, beautiful work. I honestly believe you are doing brave and courageous work. And I'm so honored to be on this journey with you. I want to bid you peace and shalom until we have our next session.